Hey, hi, welcome to stream. I hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da. There's a bunch of stuff I've been working on. Sometimes you get that creative energy that just sort of hits you and you take off. And I think that's where I'm at right now because I am knocking out a minimum of 2 pages a day this week. Not complaining, but it's alive! Awesome. Hiya, Jim. Welcome aboard. For those that join us or watching this after, tonight at 10 p.m., I will be joining Jim on his stream entitled, Hey Man, how's your movie going? At 10 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. PST. And so I'll be joining Jim with Gary Hodges and Paul Pate. So, it's going to be fun. We're a great bunch of dudes. Looking forward to that immensely. So that was really, really nice to be invited to that. So here is today's page. Just before we get on the business show. So today's page is a simple one. This guy's just a jerk. He's a jerk. The whole idea of the page was a person who mugs people by insulting them. And so he just walks up to people at random and is a terrible person. And it's, just to speak to this for a moment, all of us have had experiences with these people. And if you haven't, it's you. No, we've all of us had experiences with these people where if there's always that one person who's just, oh yeah, this is how it should be. You didn't know that? Ridiculous, and they're always that. Their setting is always, they're right, you're wrong. You're missing the point. They know all the points. And that haircut, you should be ashamed of it. That kind of expression, lovely people. Every one of us have had those types of people in our life, and the healthiest thing you can do for yourself is get them out of it. So, because nobody should treat other people like that. That's not very nice. Okay, but I just thought I was channeling those experiences when I wrote The Jerk. So, or the villain. I think I called the page The Villain. So I, some of those things actually said. Some of those things actually said to individuals that are on that page. See what I mean? Just they leave a stain, anyways. So that's today's page. I drew this in a red fountain ink pen, and on a jelly-plated paper, and then added in some white jelly roll pen, and really pleased with the result of that. Just to let you know, another page I posted just on Patreon alone is this one, which is The Thinker. And this is another page where it's done on jelly-plated paper, and just something for people on the Patreon. So that's another page that was posted today. And in addition to that, I posted the time-lapse video that's been on my YouTube channel. I posted that to Instagram today. Just for scuzz. And hiya, Chris. Welcome aboard. Chris has joined us. Welcome aboard. Are you enjoying your time? Are you spending some time on the balcony, getting out there and enjoying the weather? I hope so. Okay, so I'm going to kick off my shoes because you can always hear me tapping. So today's page I have is a three prompt Tuesday. Now I've got at least one prompt left over from last week, but more than that, I think I've got 2 more prompts pending. So if anybody that's in the chat today wants to suggest a prompt, you're more than welcome to do so. And we'll get crack-a-lacking on that. But yeah, 3 Prompt Tuesday is where 3 words, and we'll do a page. Just gonna move my sleeves up because they get in the way. Yeah. So okay, I don't know if I said this yesterday or not, but Lori was giving me a hard time because I moved. My desk has had it so that on the opposite side of my digital station is where I had my printer and my scanner. And so every time I was going to scan something or print something out, I had to walk all the way around my desk and collect those things. And it's, it's a pretty sedentary thing working in a studio. I think I need to get myself one of those desks that raises and lowers. I really do. But Lori says, well, if you move that under your desk, which was because that's what I've done. I've moved it onto this side underneath the digital station. I built some shelves. And she says, if you've done that, that's even the little walk around your desk is a little piece of exercise. And she wasn't wrong. But I don't want anyone to worry. I'm still getting all the same exercise on a regular basis because I've been scanning a whole bunch of things in the last few days. And yesterday I walked all the way around my desk 8 times for a printer and a scanner that is directly under my feet. Well, it's not under my feet, but it's directly on this side in front of me. And today I've only done it 3 times. So, until I figure it out, I'm still getting my exercise in. Yeah, that's a typical Chris thing. Okay, so prompts. I'm gonna pull up yesterday or the last prompt given, and you can't see this. This is a note for tonight, and we'll get things crack-a-lacking. If anybody has a suggestion for a single prompt, then let me know. Wrong book. All right. Oh, Jim's put a prompt up. Give me a sec, Jim. I'll get to that. I think I wrote one down from last week. Standard characters was something I had from last week. Standard characters. Don't know what it means, but we'll figure it out. Hi, Riri. Welcome aboard. You're welcome to throw out a prompt for today for 3 Prompt Tuesday. So we've got a white werewolf from Jim. We've got standard characters. Oh, I believe it was what should I include on 3 Prompt Tuesday's page, and they said standard characters. That must mean that's in relationship to prompts. But yeah, feel free, Riri or anybody else that's in the stream right now, to suggest a prompt. And if I don't do them today, I'll still keep writing them all down, and we'll do them next week. We'll include those in next week's prompts. So far, we got white werewolf and standard characters, and then we'll add whatever we add. So, if anybody's working on stuff, as usual, you are more than welcome to let us know. Anybody's got any announcements that they want to give, you are, of course, welcome to do so. And I think that what I'll do on today's page, Riri said a word and I haven't been paying attention. I'm sorry. Anchor. Okay, there we go. We got our 3 today. Standard characters, white werewolf, anchor. Okay, I know where I'm going with this. I have a story idea. It's as random as that. That's how randomly it pops into my head. Okay, I've got the watercolors out. I think that we'll half watercolor today's page. So let's go to Whoops, I want to lose the list. Yeah, and if you've got suggestions for next week, you're always welcome to suggest stuff for next week as well. I've got more pages, more Patreon exclusive pages for anybody that's here that right now that is a Patreon supporter. I have another 4-page piece that's going up, and a single piece that's going up. And I'll try to get to those, but it's we got a bunch of running around today because my my oldest is turning 32 today. So, we got to go and give her a giant bag of confetti and throw it up in the air at her house and then run away and leave and make her have to clean it. The revenge! Anyways, what am I looking for? I don't know, Chris. What are you looking for? I don't know. Maybe agua? Okay, so I've got our words: standard characters, white werewolf, and anchor. So let's take a different tack than the last couple of days of drawn with a fountain pen. I'm going to use a red pencil today, which is, I know, a little random, but it's a red color erase. I am flying right through these things, and they don't produce them anymore unless you buy them online. Dee Dee was going through her mail, and she got boxes of them, and I'm like, and my first thought was, where do they get those boxes? But the really light blue ones, I know that they don't turn out too well. But so I've got to sit down and order some of those suckers. All right, so standard characters: white werewolf and anchor. Well, how about red pencil and black Sharpie? We could do that. That's a good one. It doesn't really work with what I'm doing, but what my thought was for today's, that's why I thought, hey, watercolor would work perfectly for that. Yeah, why not? Who cares? Why not? Okay, red pencil, black Sharpie. There he is. His name is Dave. Dave the black Sharpie. Okay, this one's better. All right, red pencil, black Sharpie. So, yeah, I think I'll just get right into it. I'm just finishing some other pages that are going into Patreon, and then finishing this off. And exciting news. Okay, yeah, listen here. Okay, so in the new year, next year, 2024, I'll be working on a new science fiction book. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna love it. All right, yeah, good news. Okay, so enough channeling a really bad impression of Jeff Goldblum. Let's go. So let's introduce our narrator, I guess, and we'll get cracking. I'm really excited for tonight, and if anybody is interested, please do check out Jim's stream tonight. He's got the listing for it up already, but it's going to be very fun, and he's got all kinds of stuff done. He's going to show some things, and we're going to talk about ridiculous things. I'm absolutely positive. We'll have a big showdown on why the last Star Wars movie is considerably the best Star Wars movie ever made. I can't even say that in any degree of seriousness. I can't even joke about it. And there's just this part of me that's like, take that back. You take those words out of your yap hole. All right, so here's a problem with pencils and Sharpies. as I'm drawing with the pencil, I'm realizing this is too light to work with the Sharpie. I think it's just easier to draw with pen and Sharpie. But because the red pencil it's too faded out, right? As much as I'd like it to be more than that, it's not. But we'll get this going. We'll get it figured out. But there's a different way that we use mediums, and the way that I draw in pencil would be far more tight than when I'm drawing with markers or Sharpies. There's always a looseness to that. So I'll figure this out. Tell you what, I'll do this. How about this, Jim? I'm going to do the watercolors today, but I'll do drawing and I'll do a time-lapse Sharpie drawing for you today. Just because I want to try something today. Fantastic. That voice. Yeah, that was my intention. I'm glad somebody, it was recognizable on some level by somebody. I do that to my to the grandkids when they're over all the time. I'll my grandson will say, can I have something, or can I go do something? And I'll go, oh yeah, okay. I hear what you're saying, and just think of this. What if you didn't? And he does this face. All right, so here's our principal guy. And he's going to tell us about summer camp. I don't know why, but I want to paint a summer camp. Don't ask. So but I want to play around a little bit today with some watercolors, and so I thought I'd introduce this cat into a shot, and see what that gives me. And it doesn't have to be too involved, but something, I don't know, you got a hankering for something. That's what I got. I got me a hankering. So this is this paint set that I picked up at a bookstore here in southwestern Ontario. We were at this bookstore, and while I really wasn't connecting with any real literature in the store, Laurie had found a couple things, and then I saw this paint set, and I'm like, that is a beautiful paint set. It's just something about it just sort of called out to me. And it was $25, I think it was. And I'm like, oh, $25. There's just something about that paint set. And I can honestly say it's the best watercolor set I've ever had. And it's blocks. It's watercolor blocks. And I wouldn't have thought that would be the case. I think I'll just spend the entire stream, the entirety of my my joining Jim Lowen's stream tonight as Jeff Goldblum. I think that's what I'll do. He'll love it. He'll love it. So I'm just, am I on camera? I'm in camera. Okay, so I'm just putting in some of the highlights, but I'm going to go over some of this. It's pretty opaque. Thin it down a little bit. But you can't work on these cardstocks very you can't do an awful lot of wet on wet, or you can't do an awful lot of heavy water into the surface of them because they're going to destabilize. And that's really aggravating. Chris says, I like blocks more than tubes. Yeah, I don't know. I think that you get some wonderfully rich colors in tubes, but, you know, conversely, you can in the blocks as well. It's just a case of finding the right set, right? But yeah, I think that a lot of block watercolor sets there's a better quality to their light fastness than a lot of the easily accessible or inexpensive, at least, tube sets. Because tubes can cost an arm and a leg. So I'm just throwing some pencil crayon in, shaking it up. I just want to do a little mixed media farting around today. Oh, I forgot to paint the neck. What am I doing? What are you doing, Chris? Jim says, tonight, all gold blue. Okay, so you got to pass that on. Everybody's got to do gold blue. It's going to be silly. It's going to be a silly thing. Okay, yeah. I was invited by our friend. He's got the greatest cadence. Sorry. Anyways, I'll get off that. All right, so yeah, so I got to let this dry down a little bit. My tendency is always to work really fast, and you can't do that in certain medium. You're not allowed, just because you got to give it its time to do its thing. But here's our narrator, and so we've got him in the shot, and then I'm going to give him a beard, which is why this sort of weird shapes on the face right now, because it's going to get overrun. Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to if anybody else does it too. All right. Keep saying I'm going to leave it alone, and then I go right back into it. All right, let's do his shirt. Now this, you know how? What's your favorite color? This is my favorite color. It's a sap green. Always been my favorite color since I was a kid. Can't really tell you why, but it just is. Do you know what else costs an arm and a leg? An arm and a leg. Have you ever tried to buy one? You know what else costs an arm and a leg? An arm and a leg. You ever tried to buy one? Yeah. Hey, Frankly, how you doing, sir? Welcome aboard. This Frank Salazar, ladies and gentlemen. Arg, arg. There you go. Yeah. Love Norm Macdonald. Ridiculous. He has a 20-minute bit that he does in one of his specials about the short-sightedness of serial killers, that they do all these god-awful, horrible things, and but after committing these absolutely deplorable acts, they get overexcited and just rush the ending, and they don't bury their victims deep in the ground. And his whole thing is just about how short-sighted that is. But it's such a weird take, such a weird subject. Okay, I'll hold this up in a second here. I'm a lot of ink drawing this week. I just want to switch away from it. Okay, so here is the basic start for our narrator who's going to do his flashback. Jim Luan of the Luanites. Hello. I think it's a them instead of a one. Yeah. You ever tried to buy them? Yeah, Jim. It's them. Ugh. It's important. It's important that people use the proper, pluralization of something when they're describing the purchasing of other human beings' body parts. So the whole sentence went weird. All right, so here's our pleasant narrator, and we'll just you got a Sienna here. A little more tooth to it. Okay, so we're just going to put his beard in. That's too light. Anyways, we'll come back and do it again. All right, where are we at? I mean, you could have an arm attached to a leg, of course. I guess you could. I mean, if it's a Wednesday, maybe. We don't want to set one of those precedents of people willy-nilly running around attaching limbs to limbs, and before you know it, the university is going to get a hold of it and it becomes a whole course. So I'm playing with, I like to just sort of put base values down for areas, and then we'll do something with that afterwards. But at the very least, I want to get these base values just so it gives me a better understanding of where I'm going with the colors, where I'm going with the painting. What do we do next? What do we do next? I don't know. I think I'm going to carry this on up top. And then I got plans. I bet I do. Yeah. I'm just beating this brush right up. Just abusing it today. Okay, so there's our first thing. Let's get rolling with our story. I mean, you could have an arm attached to a leg, or a leg attached to an arm. Oh, you could. Yeah, why not? You can Armand. You can name one of them Armand, but name the leg one Armand, just to shake it up. Okay, so I'm going to draw a little stereotypical summer camp of cabins here. Just for our story's setting, because the suggested words are standard characters, white werewolf, and anchor. So a challenge with how we associate words is that when I hear anchor, for whatever reason, it made me think of tug of war. And so that is the direction that I'm going with this story right now. Do you remember the cartoon show Monsters? I'm not sure. I remember somebody, whether it's one of my kids or my younger brother, watching Monster, was my monster best friend or something like that. But Monsters, I'm not sure. So we're just gonna put some trees in this environment. Not overly defined trees, because we'll do so with the colors. It was popular when my daughter was young, and she's 37. Yeah, so 36. Yeah, maybe it was. No, even that was something. No, that's probably why I don't, because this is when I'm young adult. My brother was a late teen, so he wouldn't have been watching that. So I'm not familiar with Monsters. Okay, so here's our forest area with our little cabins in it. And then we've got, we'll do a campfire down here, just whatever, it doesn't have to be overly defined. But there's a sort of language that develops and the landscape when you look at a summer camp where the kids play. This is why this crazy mandalic sort of thing that I'm drawing here is that kids will carve paths into things. They just will. They do that. So this is what I'm putting in here is the worn paths. Now, our one daughter, she worked briefly at this camp up north where it was like a small town. And like it was literally like a little settlers town. And with like a general store, and it looked like made up part of it to look like a main street of a small town. And then these were the cabins that the kids would sleep in. So that was kind of bonkers. So you see all kinds of interesting things for these summer camps. All right, so we're putting our roofs on our cabins here, and just throwing down a light green on the trees and forest in the background into some of these places where I've got little squiggles and wiggles up here for my loose drawing. So we'll put those in, and we'll come back in a moment when this has had a second to dry, and then we'll add in some more wash into that. And then this is a different green that I've got it's a really light application of a French green. Sort of like an emerald. So this is where the little paths that I was referring to we're not going to paint those in. We're painting around those. Down to the fire pit. How cool is that? How cool is what? You've got a 36-year-old. Hey, that's pretty cool. I had an assertion when I was a kid. I found out my mother's name and age when she was 32. And so in my head, you are old. You're an adult when you're 32. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it anymore. It's give up. You're growing up now. And so I remember when I turned 32, and I'm like, ugh, well, here we are. Now my kids turning 30, and I don't know what to do with that. So, okay, so I'll put like a tan color here for the buildings. Anyways, I'll give that a second. We'll come back to that. Let's go back to this guy. The camp. Oh, cool. Yeah, that camp that Cole was at was very cool. Okay, so here is where we are now. And little cabins built on top of a hill. There's a fire pit down below. So this is dry. So I'm going to come in with colors. Throw some color can into this sucker. I got, let's see if this works. I don't think it's opaque enough. No. Sorry. We'll figure it out. It's another blue. Oh, lots of blues. I got the blues. Blah, 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 blah. All right, start over always. Camp, yeah. Did anybody go to camp? Does anybody have any crazy camp stories? Who's got some crazy camp stories? Where I went to camp, there was this crazy person running around with a bag on their head. So the idea is establishing two things. One, his reflection. The next panel is back when I went to, Camp Skokoblokey. Every year there was this tug of war contest. And so this is where we get into standard camp counselors. And I'm going to have a white werewolf as the anchor for one of the two teams. Just why not? Or maybe I'll make all of them werewolves. I have not decided yet. Okay. Am I missing stuff? No, I'm trying to stay on top of things, folks. If anybody has any questions, anybody has any thoughts, Chris, why are you doing what you're doing? I don't know. Oh, that's why he's there. There's ain't nothing in him. So now when I come in that second time, it just sort of fills that color up a little bit better. This color is French, a French green. If you listen really close, you can say, all right. So I'm going to put, yeah, this stink brush. That's too thin. Yep. Okay. So I've got an orange now loaded up here, and I'm just giving a little bit of little punches of, if it comes together. Yeah, there we go. Just some little punches of orange into the trees, give them a little more shape. And into the woods. Okay. There's our dirt paths. And around the fireplace. Fire pit, what do you call those? The fire. Okay, so there's our second panel coming in. I'll hold that up. So there we go. I'm gonna wash it out a little bit. There we go, that's better. All right, now just put a little bit more. I think I have unconsciously drawn a friend of mine. She reminds me of somebody that I know. Good guy. Oh my goodness. I'm listening to Styx, by the way. Mr. Roboto. All right. So we've got our narrator. We've got our camp coming together. So let's introduce some of the standard characters. So let's just figure out some of the other cool kids at camp. You know, like the cool camp counselor, and then we'll do some of the weird kids. There it is. I'm going to draw some different colors in here to just shake the page up. So hopefully you can see those eyes coming in, and then this is the cool camp counselor that I'm drawing right now. So yeah, I hope I'm really pleased with how well the time-lapse stuff is. I hope people have had a chance to get a look at those. I don't know who's looking at them, so, but I think I hit the algorithm, or I don't know how it works really on social media, how to make the algorithms work for you, because as soon as those commercials come on, I turn them off. But over 500 people on YouTube have looked at this time-lapse page or panel, and then I put it on Instagram this morning just because I don't think everybody goes on the one. So we'll put them in a t-shirt. So there's the cool camp counselor. And we'll give them some color and some shape in a second. But what kind of hair do we give them? Well, let's set this in the 80s. Let's give them a perm. Because, you know, all right. Yeah, I think I killed you, pal. I think I... Oh, I gotta come up with a shirt logo for the camp. What's a camp name, folks? Anybody want to suggest a camp name? Camp far from pooping? I don't know. Camp Bernadette of the Immaculate Conception. Give him a yellow shirt. There's few decisions in life that say I require the wearing of a yellow shirt more so than a summer camp. Because, you know, yellow goes with everything. Every skin complexion goes with a yellow shirt. Okay. Put more color into our trees. Greening that stuff up. And I'm missing. Chris says that she's not good at naming places. I'm not good at remembering the names of places. Yeah, a place that had the walnuts. I mean, you know, Walnutville. Oh yeah, Walnutville. All right. So here's our camp. Sorry, I'll do this again. Dee Dee told me how to do this. There we are, clear. So here's our first three panels coming together. And we'll just keep going. It's not working very well. It's better. Just want to put a rim around the glasses. There, no more shape in the face. Sounds good. Okay, that's better. So here's his face now. It's our camp. I don't know what it should be. Let's do Howling Wolf. Boom, boom, boom. What are we at? We're at 53 minutes. We're doing good. Okay, so let's see. What else can we do? We can do the. Let's do this, kid. This is the kid that's just hair. Every peer group, 70s, 80s had the kid who was just hair. We weren't even sure he had eyes. He's always up to trouble too. He's always the one that's like, I don't know, man. I don't think we should do it, but in case you do, here's some fireworks from my dad's basement. That kid. What I should have done is just drawn this digitally and just stuck it on everything. It doesn't matter. Okay. So this is where we're doing our cast of characters. I know that my application is a lot lighter than other people. I realize that. And it just build it up. There's definitely benefits to just laying it down, but okay. We'll give our camp name something really ridiculous. All right. I think I just put down one pencil crayon and picked up the exact same color. Now, if there's some sort of, I don't know, from the suggestion today, if there's some sort of special cultural mythology behind a white werewolf, I'd be interested to find out. I don't want to hurt any, if somebody suggests, who was it? Jim suggested this in case there's, no, in California, the white werewolf is sacred to us. We got beliefs all over the place here. Are you show up at all? No. It's all right. I know I'm a little quiet today. Deeply reflective. Chris, I've got to take my helicopter to go rescue some hikers from a volcano. I'll see you tonight. Thank you. Jim? Jim sounded a little different there. I'll hold it up again in a second. Just trying to get some more color into this ginger. Okay, where we are. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that tonight. 10 p.m. EST. So here is, I'm starting to do the camp kids now. So this is the various, cheeky kids at the camp. Cool counselor, the troublemaker, the can have the smart kid. And Jim says, P.S. Just a generic white werewolf. All right. I was kind of hoping that somebody would say, yes, the white werewolf is very important. It's in my family. We are descended from the white werewolf. All right. So you can see as I move forward, I'm still moving back all the time and adding, bits to the previous panels. It's just, I found that when illustrating a page and using watercolor or ink, is that I found that not sitting here and just resting on the drying period for a panel lets me move at the speed I want to move at. Because otherwise, this can be a really dragged out process of trying to get a page done this way. It would just be pointless, really. So you figure out what methods, what approaches work for you. Now, there's no right or wrong way for you from how I do it. I can't do that. I want to work on one thing at a time. I work on one thing at a time. Anybody says this is the way to do it, they don't know what they're talking about. That's their way to do it. So hopefully this has separated the planes now. And Chris says, my memories of werewolves are about Thriller, Michael Jackson. Miri says, at least that's good memories, Chris. There was a werewolf that lived in our backyard. Yeah. So you can see the different white and the glass lens, or the lenses of the glasses, and now as we're trying to separate the planes of the foreground from the background. So I'm going to put a couple more hits of green just to push these planes around over here. and try to further intimate that this is a decline, this hillside. So we'll play with some of those marks and move the eye around a little bit. That's good. Do I have a great gun or a heat gun? Oh yeah, I got a heat gun. I got an air dryer. I just prefer to work across numerous things at once. I've got Lori's hair dryer, and she yeah, can I borrow a hair dryer? Why? You've never used a hair dryer? I said, right. I need it for a thing. And then she watches the stream where I start using her hair dryer to dry a piece that I'm painting, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, that's what he wanted my hair dryer for?" Okay, so here's our two guys. Okie dokie. Yeah, hair dryers are valuable, like invaluable tools. I just I'm trying to get X amount done at once here, so I don't bore everybody. And if I just sit here and focus on the one panel, I think I'll bore your heads right off you. Okay, so there's our next person. Let's draw on the next one. What time are we at? We're at 1:10. So I'll be doing some more of the time-lapse stuff, and I'll be doing them on a regular basis in the new year. They'll be quite consistent, and the idea here is to take, what I do here with, showcasing different ways to go about telling stories in different medium, and focusing on a specific panel, so it gives a sort of view of how I'll work a specific material on a mixed media approach on a single panel, and that way it'll help people. Try to isolate myself down to as little experimentation as I can on the panels, right? Doesn't a heat gun damage paper? Well, it depends on what you mean by a heat gun. There are people that do use registered heat gun names, and if you're too close, you can make a messier thing. Also, some people use heat guns as permission to really push the surface itself. Like they really want to see how much more that they can test it out by drying layer after layer after layer. But if you're not using a thick enough paper or heavy enough grade of something, it's not going to hold anyways. But I don't know that it necessarily damages it. If you're pressing way too close, yeah, you can damage stuff for sure. What are we at? 1:10. We're doing good. Yeah, I saw somebody that would like soak a page and then with the hair dryer, and then immediately like soak other parts of the same page and hair dryer, and so that page was buckled like crazy. But I think most people have a firm grasp on best way to utilize that tool. Well, you'll learn quick if you don't. Okay, so here's our next person. So let's do, let's draw with the red. And we'll do a weird kid. We'll do that. I got a picture over here of Harvey P. Carr. We'll turn him into the weird kid at camp. Am I missing stuff? I wait for my watercolor paper to dry naturally. That's, yeah. It just makes, some people haven't, they really need expediency, whether it's because it's a due date or if it's, they're, they just don't, they like to stay in the flow while they're working and not have to come back to something. So there's a million different reasons why people use them or don't use them. But, so here's the weird kid with the weird hair. There was a kid I went to a camp when I was a boy, and Olalando it was called. It's gone now. It's a gravel pit, the camp that I went to as a kid. But so let's have this kid holding something. Turtle. Not that you could actually see the turtle. But we know he's got something in there. Okay. Yep. Just making sure I'm caught up. So yeah, there's the next kid, and we'll give him the logo shirt. It's more like an alligator than it does a. Sure, the alligator camp. Whatever, doesn't matter. So I think this is the yellow. Put in a slight tan, flesh tony color. Put that in there. Try yellow. That's all right. We'll clean it up. Okay, so here's our next one, and I think I'll do one more kid, and let's do the smiley face kid that actually gets everybody else into trouble. The one who's already got the plan. Voted most likely to become a dentist. I don't know. I normally don't use green, but this combination, it looks interesting. Oh, thanks. There we go. There's that kid roughed out. I normally don't use this in green, but this combination looks interesting. Oh, thanks, Chris. That's nice. Yeah. It's a funny thing about colors. People now there's a psychological thing that the colors say about people and the colors they will or won't use. And but there are also colors that people just have a natural aversion towards. It's just one of those things. But a lot of people hate black. A lot of people hate like dark values, and it's because they always represent these really opaque volumes, right? And so then it becomes way too much black on that, and they just wanted to do things lightly. Before you know it, they've got way too much on there. Give them that little comb over. This is the kid I'm drawing right now is the one that said, "So what's the girl situation like here?" He's that kind of kid. They're like a bunch of sweat hogs, these guys. Okay, so hold this up. Let's see where things have progressed to now. Okay, so here's some of the details really coming out in the face. And then in the camp, I'm sorry, again, I'm trying to get it to focus and be our friend, but it's being looks like a bit like River Cuomo from Weezer. And then there's our camp. We got to finish that off a little bit. And then we start to do images of the kids at the camp. And, we'll talk. I think it might be fun to say, all my friends I used to share my cabin with, and then we'll have their names up above. And then down below, I can have text on it that says, this one became a dentist. Just some silly fun. But I'll keep cracking on this. We got the top panel. We got the top part of the page all laid out. I'm going to do a time-lapse drawing of with a marker and a dark pencil and post that tonight, I think. So, I'm having a lot of fun. I hope people are having a lot of fun as well. I'll be on Jim Luan's channel tonight at 10 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. PST with Paul Pate and Gary Hodges and Jim and me. We'll be talking about his new animated feature film that he's working on. So, will the kids be eaten? No. My objective with this page, based on these 3 word prompts of standard characters, we got our standard characters for camp kids. White Werewolf, I'll get to that in a minute. Anchor, I'll get to that in a minute. But my intention is for him to tell you about a story when he was a kid. Believe me, this is true. Where he was at camp, I know you were, but what am I? And or whatever the camp name is. And he introduces the kids he shared his cabin with, and they were in a tug of war, and they took the championship. And it all, it's all because, the anchor for our tug of war team was a white werewolf. So just because silly fun. All right, that's about it for me. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST, and I'll talk to you then. All right, bye for now.